You didn't come across this video by accident. There's a frequency in the universe that only activates when your soul is ready. And if you're hearing this now, it's because Thoth, the master of vibration, left a calling specifically for this moment. From now on, nothing that seemed like coincidence will be just coincidence. The universe is literally responding to your vibration in this very instant. And the proof of that is that you're already hearing this message. But this is just the beginning. Because Thoth used to say, when the calling arrives, the entire reality starts to move. And those who aren't prepared will try to ignore it. But those who are ready will walk through the invisible door that separates the ordinary world from true reality. And I'm going to show you exactly how to recognize that door and walk through it, without falling into the traps that keep most people stuck in the illusion. But first, you need to understand why the universe waited for exactly this moment to reveal this to you. When the ear is ready to hear, then come the lips to fill it with wisdom. Have you ever noticed that the reality you live in might seem solid, concrete, unchanging? But Thoth said that this solidity is just a disguise. The reality as you know it is only the most superficial layer of something much greater. There are vibrational layers coexisting in the same space and time, but only those who silence the inner noise are able to pass through this first layer and see beyond. It's not about seeing with your eyes, it's about perceiving with your consciousness. When you're trapped in the noise of the mind, everything feels closed off, rigid, without a way out. You can only see problems, challenges, obligations. It's like you're looking at the world through a fogged-up window. But when the mind quiets, when the heart finds harmony, the fog begins to lift and something different appears. Thoth taught that vibration is the key that opens that invisible door. You don't need to force the door. It doesn't open with effort, it opens with alignment. Imagine a musical instrument. If you play the right note, another string vibrates with it, even if you don't touch it directly. Reality works the same way. When you vibrate at the right frequency, the door that once seemed closed resonates with that frequency and simply opens. No pushing, no shouting, no desperation. It's a silent but powerful adjustment. That's why so many people search for answers and don't find them. Because they're trying to force a door that only responds to inner silence. The frantic search for truth closes more doors than it opens. Thoth said the secret lies in balance. Quiet mind, peaceful heart, presence in the now. In that state, you don't need to chase the answers. The answers come to you. But most people live in the opposite of that. Agitated mind, divided heart, fragmented presence. They try to find peace in the future, when they succeed, when they solve their problems, when the outer world changes. But Thoth taught that this peace is already available here and now, just waiting for you to stop getting distracted by what doesn't matter. The invisible door is always there. It doesn't appear and disappear. What changes is your ability to perceive it. When you're vibrating fear, urgency, or control, you can't see anything beyond the surface of life. But when you silence those inner noises, you begin to perceive layers that were once invisible. As if a curtain is pulled back, and behind it, a new scene is revealed. And here's something few people understand. Those layers aren't in some other place. They are exactly where you are now. In your room, on your street, at your job. There's no distant other world. There's another perception of the same world. Reality doesn't move to a different location. What changes is your consciousness. Thoth said that each person lives on a different vibrational level, even while in the same environment. That's why two people can go through the same situation and see completely different things. While one sees crisis, the other sees opportunity. While one feels fear, the other feels peace. The external reality is the same, but the vibrational perception is what changes everything. And this perception isn't activated by magic formulas or complicated practices. It starts with something simple and at the same time deep, inner silence. It's not an empty silence, but a conscious silence where you stop reacting automatically to the world and begin to simply observe. In that state, you're no longer trying to manipulate life. You're open to what it has to show you. And when you access that silence for the first time, something happens. The reality that once felt so limited starts to reveal subtle signs, connections you had never noticed. People show up at the right moment. Words come as answers. Ideas appear out of nowhere. It's not coincidence. It's alignment. The vibration of your consciousness is finally in harmony with the frequency of the universe. But here's the part that few have the courage to face. Walking through that door is only the beginning. Because when you see what's on the other side, you realize that the reality you once knew wasn't even half of what truly exists. What's hidden behind the reality everyone sees? When you pass through that first layer and realize that reality wasn't even half of what it seemed to be, something inside you starts to question everything you've always believed. Because what Thoth revealed was simple and at the same time deep. The visible world, the one you see, touch, and live in daily, is only a tiny fraction of creation. Most of reality remains hidden, not because someone kept it from you, but because your perception wasn't attuned enough to see it. What's behind what you see isn't a separate or distant world. It's not some mystical dimension lost in the cosmos. It's a vibrational field that permeates everything, everywhere, at all times. An invisible but real field where everything vibrates, everything pulses, everything is connected. This field isn't made of matter, but of energy in motion, and it shapes every detail of your reality. While most people live believing that life is fixed, predetermined, Thoth taught the opposite. Nothing is fixed. Nothing is stuck. Reality adjusts to who you are on the inside. What you feel, think, and believe doesn't stay locked in your head. It vibrates, spreads out, and shapes the environment around you. The world doesn't happen separately from you. The world responds to you. Imagine for a moment two people walking down the same street, passing the same people, seeing the same stores, hearing the same sounds. One feels peace, the other feels anxiety. To one, that place seems full of opportunities. To the other, it feels hostile, cold, lifeless. What changed? Not the street. It was each one's inner field. Because perception isn't a neutral lens. It's a vibration that colors everything you see. And that creates the first shock. Because if the outer reality is vibrating according to your inner state, then everything you're living today isn't an accident. It's a reflection. That doesn't mean you consciously chose every detail of your life, but that the frequency you were emitting attracted experiences that matched it. This is the Hermetic principle of correspondence. As within, so without. But here's what few people have the courage to admit. It's no use trying to manipulate reality with superficial positive thinking. It's no use saying you believe in abundance if deep down you're vibrating scarcity. The field responds to what you feel on the deepest level, not what you say out loud. Thoth didn't teach mental tricks. He taught vibrational transformation. Change your vibration and everything changes. The problem is that most people want to change the world without changing themselves. They want to see miracles out there without facing their own shadows in here. But Thoth said, first you transmute your inner self, then reality naturally reconfigures. Vibration doesn't ask for forced effort, it asks for coherence. When you're vibrationally aligned, reality stops being an unpredictable enemy. It becomes a responsive field. Every thought you have echoes. Every emotion you feel generates a frequency. And every frequency you emit finds an echo in this invisible field, which gives back exactly what you sent out. No more, no less. It's not punishment, it's not reward, it's reflection. And here's where the shock deepens. Because understanding this means taking on a level of responsibility that's scary. It's easier to blame the world, other people, fate, or chance. But Thoth left no room for excuses. He taught, your reality is a mirror of your vibration. If you want to change the reflection, there's no use arguing with the mirror. You have to change the image you're projecting. And even though all of this is already deep, there was something Thoth kept only for the initiated, something he never wrote on papyrus or carved into tablets. It was a teaching passed from mouth to ear, only to those who had already gone through these first layers of reality and were ready to go beyond. Because there is a deeper level of reality that even these surface vibrations don't reach. A truth that breaks down everything you thought you knew about the universe. This truth that Thoth guarded in silence wasn't a selfish secret. It was protection. Because not everyone was ready to carry the weight and responsibility it brought. The truth is simple, but unsettling. The universe wasn't created as a fixed stage where you live passively. It's a living, vibrant field that reacts to your inner state in real time. While most people believe the world out there is finished and just waiting for you to survive in it, Thoth taught that creation is still happening now, every moment, through your vibrational frequency. There isn't a distant creator controlling everything for you. There is a field quietly responding to what you're vibrating deep inside. And this field doesn't understand pretty words or empty intentions. It picks up what you feel when no one's looking. Your unspoken insecurity, your silent guilt, your inner peace, even if you never mention it to anyone. Everything vibrates, and everything gets a response. That's why certain situations in your life seem to repeat as if they were programmed. Because, in a way, they are. If you vibrate abandonment, people who confirm that feeling show up. If you vibrate confidence, opportunities that require courage manifest, not as punishment, not as reward, as response. Thoth explained that the universe is not moralistic. It doesn't judge your thoughts as good or bad. It just reflects. Every thought sends out a wave. Every emotion creates a field. And that field shapes reality with mathematical precision. But what few people realize is that this vibrational field isn't locked into one shape. It's changeable, flexible, plastic. And that means your outer reality can completely transform when your inner field shifts frequency. Not slowly, not over decades, but the moment your vibrational state truly changes. But here's the crucial point. Scattered thoughts don't change your frequency. Fleeting emotions don't either. What changes the field is the deep and stable state you cultivate daily. It's no use vibrating peace for 1 minute and going back to fear the next. The field responds to consistency, not instability. That's why so many people feel frustrated with spiritual reality. Because they want instant results, but they keep vibrating contradiction. They want abundance but carry mental scarcity. They want love but hold on to hidden resentments. They want peace but feed anxiety every day. Thoth taught that real transformation doesn't happen in what you say you want. It happens in what you silently vibrate when no one's watching. The field doesn't read words, it reads frequencies. And here's the first step to begin to understand how this field moves. It isn't static. It adjusts to your inner state in every instant. There's no fixed reality waiting for you. There's a field constantly adapting to what you're radiating now, When your vibration changes, the entire field around you reorganizes situations, people, and opportunities to reflect that change, not as magic, as vibrational law. But how can you change this field in a practical way? How do you break free from this invisible cycle where everything seems to repeat? This is the part Thoth only taught to those who were truly ready to apply it, not just to understand it intellectually. How to change your vibration without trying to control life. Thoth made it clear that trying to control life is not how you change the vibrational field. The illusion of control is what most blocks the natural flow of things. The more you try to force reality, the more it slips through your fingers. Vibration doesn't follow commands, it responds to states of harmony. And harmony isn't born from rigidity, but from inner flexibility. While most people try to dominate the external, Thoth taught how to master the internal. Not to control thoughts and emotions like someone taming a wild animal, but to align these natural forces so they flow in rhythm with creation. When your inner world is in harmony, life organizes itself without you having to fight against it. But how do you create this harmony when the whole world teaches the opposite? The first step isn't doing more, but silencing more. Instead of adding more noise, you begin removing the excess. When you silence the mind for a few moments, the field around you starts to reorganize naturally. Not because you gave an order to the universe, but because silence is the original state of the vibrational field. Creation arises from silence, not from noise. Silencing doesn't mean forcing the mind to be empty of thoughts. It means stopping the fight against them, observing without judging, letting the thought come and go, like a cloud passing through the sky without leaving a trace. It's in this state of non-resistance that vibration starts to shift. Beyond silence, Thoth taught the importance of releasing fear. Fear is the frequency that most distorts the perception of reality. When you vibrate in fear, everything feels hostile. People seem threatening, situations feel dangerous, and even the future looks uncertain. But fear doesn't disappear through forced courage. It dissolves when you recognize that you're not in control of everything, and even so, you're safe within the universal flow. It's trust in the invisible that releases fear of the visible. And the third essential adjustment is to cultivate presence, because most people are stuck in the past or future. The past brings regrets and guilt. The future brings anxiety and expectations. And while you're caught between two times that don't exist, the only vibration that creates your reality, the present, is being ignored. To be present is to feel life now, without trying to rush or delay what's happening. These three adjustments, silence, releasing fear, and presence, recalibrate your frequency without forced effort. It's not about repeating positive phrases without feeling them. It's about changing your vibrational state at the deepest level. Because when your frequency truly shifts, the field responds immediately. Situations begin to reorganize. People change their behavior. Opportunities appear where there used to be blocks. And all of this happens without you needing to lift a finger in the external world. But here's something curious that happens. When you stop trying to control, when you let go and trust the flow, reality changes on its own. Not because you gave up on action, but because the action starts coming from a place far more intelligent than the anxious ego. It's as if life begins to organize the path ahead of you as you walk. And this is when something starts to happen on the outside. Something most people can't explain rationally, but that Thoth described thousands of years ago. Reality, which once seemed disordered and random, begins to respond with fluidity, as if it had been waiting for this alignment the entire time. This is exactly where most people are surprised, because when you start to adjust your vibration, the external world, which once seemed chaotic and out of control, begins to respond with precision. Situations that used to take a long time simply flow. People who once felt distant come closer without effort. Opportunities that felt blocked unlock without you needing to force them. It's as if the universe was waiting for you to tune in to the right frequency in order to release the next chapter of your life. Thoth taught that this automatic response from the universe isn't a reward or a coincidence. It's the exact reflection of your inner field. He called this vibrational correspondence. What's inside creates an invisible bridge that connects you to what's outside. There is no real separation. What you feel internally shapes how the world interacts with you. But don't mistake this for a promise that everything will be easy. Flow doesn't mean the absence of challenges. It means the challenges stop feeling like random obstacles and start having a clear purpose: to expand your consciousness and raise your frequency even more. Everything that happens outside is showing you who you are inside. If something comes into your life, it's not by accident. It's because you attracted it with the vibration you've been sustaining. People will treat you differently. Some will drift away naturally, without drama or discussion. Others will appear as living responses to your new inner state. You'll notice that certain doors close at the right time, not to punish you, but to redirect your energy to where your frequency is better received. And other doors, which you didn't even know existed, will simply open. Reality begins to flow not because you work hard to control it, but because you've become compatible with what's trying to enter your life. The field around you, now cleaner and more coherent, draws in situations that vibrate at the same tone. This happens in the little things and the big ones, in casual encounters, in contracts being signed, in conversations that clarify old thoughts, in unexpected invitations that change your direction. But here comes a point that almost no one talks about. When you change your frequency, not everything that comes will be comfortable. Thoth already warned about this. The new vibration attracts what aligns with your growth, not with your comfort zone. And many times, what makes you grow is exactly what pulls you out of where you were stuck. Discomfort as a sign that you're on the right path. But it's exactly at this moment that many people give up. Because when your vibration rises, the field doesn't just bring good and gentle things. It first brings what needs to be cleared. Thoth warned about this. Harmony doesn't arrive without chaos doing its work first. And chaos doesn't come to destroy your life, but to clear out everything that no longer vibrates with who you're becoming. Suddenly, old relationships begin to drift away. Some friendships that made sense until yesterday now feel distant, empty, forced. Not because someone changed overnight, but because the vibrations no longer meet at the same point. It's like two radio stations broadcasting on different frequencies. They simply don't connect anymore. And while this is painful at first, it's part of the process. Beyond people, situations that once seemed solid begin to fall apart. Businesses you kept going out of habit begin to show their cracks. Plans that once felt secure reveal they had no real foundation. Everything that was being held up by fear or the need for control begins to collapse, not as punishment, but as liberation. The field is doing a deep cleaning. Everything that doesn't resonate with the new frequency has to go to make space for what's in alignment. And that letting go may feel like a collapse at first, but later you realize it was a necessary realignment. Life isn't breaking you down. It's preparing you to hold something greater and more true. Thoth said that chaos is not the end. It's the transition. It's the empty space between the old vibration and the new one. And if you can cross that emptiness without trying to go back to old comforts, something incredible happens. Because after the clearing, the field starts to respond with clarity. And when that happens, life no longer feels random. Coincidences are no longer seen as luck. They're perceived as confirmations. Opportunities no longer feel like chance, but natural responses to your vibration. You no longer feel like you're fighting against the current. You feel like you're moving with it. Reality, which once seemed unpredictable and confusing, begins to follow a vibrational logic that you can feel, even if you can't always explain it. It's when you begin living in a state of vibrational coherence that everything starts to stabilize. Thoth explained that external instability reflects the instability of the internal field. That's why, when your vibration becomes steady, reality stops fluctuating so much too. Of course, challenges still exist, but they stop being crises that knock you down and become adjustments that strengthen you. Synchronicities become common, not as magic, but as a natural flow. People show up at the right moment. Opportunities arise effortlessly. Doors open without you having to push them. And all of this happens because your internal frequency is clear, stable, and coherent. Life finally begins to reflect who you truly are, not who you were trying to be. But even after reaching this vibrational stability, there is one last block that keeps many people from fully living in this flow. An invisible, subtle, but extremely powerful block, and most don't even realize it's there. When you become the portal that creates reality. This last block is the most deceptive because it doesn't present itself as an obvious obstacle. In fact, it disguises itself as safety. It's the illusion of control. Thoth warned that even after stabilizing their vibration, many people go back to trying to control the flow of life. They think that now that they understand the field, they need to command it. And that's exactly when the vibration starts to distort again. Control is subtle. Sometimes it shows up as excessive planning. Sometimes as anxiety disguised as responsibility. Other times as that need to make sure everything happens exactly the way you imagined. But Thoth said, life doesn't respond to rigidity. It responds to trust. The more you try to control, the more reality resists. The more you trust, the more the field finds the perfect path for you. This block is so quiet that many don't even realize when they fall into it. Because they no longer vibrate fear, they no longer live in chaos. They've already been through vibrational cleansing. But they begin to build a new prison. Spiritual perfectionism. They want everything to flow so perfectly that they start forcing the flow. And they forget that true harmony isn't born from control, but from conscious surrender to the universal flow. When you let go of control, it doesn't mean you stop acting. It means your actions come from a calmer and clearer place, where you don't have to prove anything or guarantee outcomes. You act with awareness, not urgency. You act with presence, not desperation, and life responds to this state with ease. Thoth taught that the true seeker doesn't try to manipulate the universe. They learn to dance with it. They listen to the silence between events and follow the rhythm without trying to rush or delay what needs to happen. It's in this space of quiet trust that the vibrational field remains steady and responds with precision. And that's when life shifts to a new level. You realize you're no longer fighting situations. They come to you at the right time, in the right form, with the right people. Not because you asked with words, but because you became vibrationally aligned with it. Reality no longer needs to be forced. It simply fits. At this point, you're no longer out there looking for signs. You become the sign. Your frequency becomes so clear, so coherent, that the field responds even before you voice the request. It's as if reality is synchronized with your inner state, anticipating your steps and opening the path effortlessly. And when you reach this place, you understand what Thoth meant. The seeker no longer walks separate from the path. They become the path itself. They don't search for truth outside, they vibrate truth within. And the entire reality responds to that silent vibration, adjusting the outer world to the inner peace. But the most important thing is realizing what this means right now. If this message reached you, it's because your vibration is already ready to hear it. It didn't appear at the beginning of your journey. It appeared now, when your field can hold this truth. And from this point on, the reality you're going to live is no longer the one you inherited. It's the one you generate, moment by moment, with your frequency. What Thoth revealed remains alive to this day for one reason: because the field still responds in the same way. And if you've made it this far, you're no longer asking how life is going to change, because you've already understood that life changed the exact moment you changed your vibration. If you felt that this message truly spoke to you, write in the comments now, "I heard the calling." This simple phrase isn't just a response to the video. It's a vibrational signal you send to the universe saying, "I am ready." And you can be sure, those who write it begin to notice doors opening in ways they never imagined. Oh, and if you'd like to support the channel more directly and help spread these messages around the world, there's a link in the first pinned comment where you can contribute however you'd like. That way, you help keep this content alive and help it reach those who most need to hear it. And before you leave, pay attention. I've selected a special video for you to go even deeper into this awakening. It's already appearing on your screen now. Click on it, because that's where we'll meet to continue this journey together.